Good evening, and welcome to a journey back in time, to an age where winter wasn't just a season, but a formidable challenge. Tonight, we'll explore the remarkable lives and incredible resilience of medieval peasants. These were the everyday heroes, who, despite overwhelming odds, managed to survive some of the coldest, and most brutal nights in history. Their story is one of grit, ingenuity, and a quiet determination that shaped their very existence. So, let the gentle hum of the night embrace you, as we dim the lights, and ease into this fascinating tale of survival. When we envision medieval life, our minds often wander to images of jousting knights, or grand feasts. But for the average peasant, winter brought a starker reality. It wasn't merely a season, it was an annual test of endurance, a relentless teacher that offered no second chances. Imagine, if you will, living in a tiny hut constructed of mud and sticks. Its walls so thin, you might almost hear a bird sneeze outside. There was no insulation to speak of, no glass windows, perhaps just a small, crude opening, occasionally stuffed with animal skin. Inside these humble dwellings, the temperature often hovered just a few polite degrees above the freezing outdoor air. Nights were particularly unforgiving. Darkness enveloped everything, and the wind howled like an angry spirit. The fire in the hearth, a tiny beacon of hope, sputtered valiantly, yet mostly managed to warm only the toes of those closest. If you were on the other side of the room, well, you might as well have been camping outside. Clothing offered little true comfort. Peasants possessed no luxurious furs or downy blankets. Just a couple of rough spun wool tunics, perhaps a cloak that carried the faint scent of goat, and the hopeful, yet often futile, belief that layering them would transform them into a human onion. Beds were often just sacks, loosely stuffed with hay or straw, perhaps with a few old rushes thrown in for good measure, and as an added bonus, a few fleas for extra company. Such was the luxury of medieval peasant life. The cold, however, was far more than just uncomfortable, it was a silent, dangerous foe. Frostbite, hypothermia, and the very real risk of freezing to death were constant threats, especially for the young and the elderly. Each morning that one woke, still breathing, was considered a minor miracle, honestly worth celebrating, perhaps with a slightly less frozen turnip for breakfast. Surviving a medieval winter was not about comfort. It was about gritting one's teeth, piling on every piece of cloth owned, huddling with livestock, and praying you didn't wake up with icicles hanging from your eyebrows. And the real adventure was just beginning. If you find your modern apartment drafty because a window doesn't quite close, medieval peasants would certainly understand. Their homes weren't just drafty, they were, in essence, very enthusiastic wind tunnels with a roof. Most peasant houses utilized what historians politely term wattle and daub construction. This translates to sticks, intricately crisscrossed like a giant basket, then generously smeared with a charming mixture of mud, straw, and yes, animal dung. They weren't trying to be crude. Dung was a cheap, readily available, and surprisingly sticky insulator. These walls, no matter how lovingly smeared, stood little chance against a proper winter storm. The cold wind found every crack, every minuscule gap, and gleefully danced its way into their one-room homes, swirling around and ensuring no one ever became too comfortable.